The royal ship floated at the edge of the deadly nebula. It was a place of storms, lightning, and endless dark clouds that swallowed any ship that entered. The crew was silent, fear written on their alien faces. No one dared to move forward. No one dared to even suggest a plan. Inside the command hall, two princesses stood close together. They were young, beautiful, and dressed in royal armor that glittered under the dim lights. But their eyes showed fear. They knew the nebula had destroyed hundreds of ships before. Legends said no alien vessel could pass through. The engines of their ship were weak, shields flickering, and supplies running out. If no miracle came, they would be lost forever. The older princess whispered to her sister, "Do you hear the crew? They have no hope. They think we are already dead." The younger one clenched her fist. "Father trusted us with this mission. We cannot fail. But who can save us here?" The nebula roared outside the windows, flashes of purple storms and golden lightning cracking the sky. Each blast shook the ship like a toy. The crew prayed silently in their own alien language. They remembered an old saying that spread across the stars. When aliens fall, call for a human. No one believed it, not really. Humans were strange, reckless, always ready to risk their lives. Some called them mad, some called them heroes. But none could deny that humans did what no other race dared. The radar blinked suddenly. A small dot appeared at the edge of the nebula, moving closer. The crew gasped. The princesses leaned forward. "What is that?" the older sister asked, her voice shaking. "Another ship, but so small, just one fighter," the officer replied. And then the signal grew clear. It was a human craft, tiny compared to their massive royal ship, yet moving with fearless speed. The younger princess felt her heart race. A human? Here? Why would he come? No one answered. No one could believe it. The human's voice crackled through the comms, strong and calm. "Royal ship, I see your position. You will not make it alone. Follow my lead." Gasps filled the hall. The captain shook his head. "This is madness. One human fighter cannot guide us through this death storm." But the princesses looked at each other. In their hearts, they felt something stir. Hope, fragile but alive. The older princess lifted her chin. "Open the channel. Let us hear him." The human's image appeared on the screen. His face was young but scarred, eyes sharp and steady. Behind him, sparks flew as his ship trembled in the nebula winds. Yet his voice never shook. "I have crossed storms worse than this. Trust me, I can take you through." The younger princess whispered. "He looks like he belongs here, as if the nebula itself cannot touch him." The crew still argued. "No alien ship has survived. This is impossible. He will kill us all." The human leaned closer to the screen. "You have two choices, stay here and die slowly, or follow me and live. Humans were made for places like this." The hall fell silent. The princesses felt the weight of the moment. It was not logic, not reason, it was instinct. They both spoke together. "Guide us, human, we will follow." The human nodded once. "Then hold on. The nebula does not forgive mistakes." Engines roared, alarms screamed. The massive royal ship turned slowly, following the small human craft. The nebula opened before them like the jaws of a beast, lightning crashing, gravity twisting, stars disappearing. No one spoke, every heart pounded. The crew looked at their human guide on the screen. He flew with calm hands, diving into storms, dodging lightning as if he could see paths invisible to others. The older princess gripped her sister's hand. "If he succeeds, we owe him everything," she whispered. The younger one only nodded, unable to look away from the screen. The nebula swallowed them whole. The storm screamed louder, brighter, deadlier. And yet, the human kept flying. Each move sharper, faster, bolder than anything they had ever seen. At that moment, the aliens realized the truth of the old saying. When aliens fall, call for a human. For humans did not run from the impossible. They made it their home. The nebula roared, the ship trembled, but hope burned again. And so the legend began. The human fighter cut through the storm like a knife. Behind him, the giant royal ship followed, creaking under the weight of the nebula's fury. Every second, lightning tore the skies, gravity waves twisted the hull, alarms screamed, but the small fighter never slowed. It moved like a hawk in a hurricane, alive, unafraid, daring the impossible. The older princess stood near the viewing screen, eyes locked on the human ship. she whispered to her sister. He flies as if the storm is his ally, not his enemy. The younger one could only nod, her hands trembling. She had seen pilots before, trained masters from the royal fleet, but none had ever flown like this human. It was not skill alone. It was something else, something wild and untamed that lived only in humans. The alien captain clutched the railing, sweat dripping down his brow. "This is madness," he muttered. "No one can survive in this chaos." Yet his eyes betrayed him, for even he could not look away from the human's dance with death. Suddenly the nebula screamed louder. A wave of golden fire rolled across the void. The human barked into the comms. "Brace for impact. Follow exactly. No hesitation." His fighter tilted at an impossible angle, diving into a narrow stream of calm space hidden within the storm. The royal ship struggled to mimic him, its engines straining. Metal groaned. Shields cracked, but somehow they held. The crew shouted in disbelief. He found a corridor. No sensors detected it. How did he know? The human's voice answered calmly. "Because I can feel it. Storms have rhythm. You just have to listen." The princesses exchanged a look, neither understanding, yet both believing. Was this the secret of humanity, this ability to see what machines could not? As the storm eased for a moment, the younger princess spoke softly. "Why would a human risk his life for us, strangers from another empire?" Her sister answered, her gaze still fixed on the glowing screen. "Perhaps because that is what humans do. They save others even when it makes no sense." The human checked his instruments. Sparks flew across his cockpit, alarms blinking red, but he ignored them. His oxygen was thinning, fuel dropping fast, yet his hands were steady. He spoke again, voice low but sure. "Your ship cannot take much more. You must trust me completely. One wrong move, and the nebula will crush us." The older princess straightened her back. "Then we trust you. Human, do not let us fall." The crew fell silent. No more doubts, no more questions. Every eye turned to the small fighter ahead. The storm closed in once more, this time worse than before. A wall of violet energy rose like a mountain, twisting lightning across its face. It blocked every path, a barrier no ship could pierce. The captain shouted, "We must turn back. It is death to continue." But the human only laughed, a sharp, fearless sound. "Turning back is death. Forward is survival. Follow me." And with that, he dove straight at the wall, engines roaring like thunder. The princesses gasped, the crew cried out. But there was no choice now, they followed. The ship shook violently, lights exploded, metal screamed as if alive. For a heartbeat, it seemed the nebula would swallow them whole. Then, in a flash, they burst through. Silence, a pocket of calm space hidden deep inside the storm. The nebula still raged around them, but here there was breath. There was hope. The human's voice came once more, calm, steady, unbroken. "I told you, storms have doors, you just need courage to find them." The younger princess pressed her hand to her chest, her heart racing. This human was not just a pilot. He was something more. A force, a legend, perhaps even destiny itself. But the storm was not finished. On the horizon, another wall of fire twisted and grew, larger than anything before. The crew trembled, the captain whispered, "This is impossible, even he cannot pass this." The human tightened his grip on the controls, his eyes sharp as steel. "Oh, I can," he murmured, though his voice was nearly drowned by static. For in his heart, he carried the madness of humanity, and madness was sometimes the only key to survival. The princesses leaned forward together, holding their breath. Whatever came next would decide not only their lives, but the fate of their empire. And they knew, deep in their souls, they would never forget this human who dared the storm. The nebula roared again, hungrier than ever. But the human smiled, and drove them deeper into the fire. The royal ship trembled as the human pilot led them deeper into the storm. The nebula was alive, roaring like a beast of the void, its colors twisting across the skies, violet rivers and golden arcs crashing into each other with violent hunger. No alien in history had flown this far. No ship had survived. Yet one human fighter cut a path where none should exist. The younger princess pressed her face close to the viewing glass, her wide eyes reflecting the storm outside. She whispered, "How can he do this? How can one man stand against the nebula?" Her sister answered, voice tight but steady. Because he does not see what we see, he sees something else. He sees possibilities where we see only death. Ahead of them, the human's small craft wove through lightning that bent like claws, twisting gravity waves that pulled at the hull, every move made in perfect rhythm. He did not hesitate. He did not slow. He flew as if the storm itself whispered secrets into his ear. The crew behind the princesses were silent, all arguments gone, all doubts drowned in awe. They had once mocked humans as reckless wanderers, yet now they watched one carve life from certain death. Then the horizon cracked open. A wall of fire, towering higher than anything they had faced. It burned with colors no mind could name, molten gold, black flame, crimson shadows, shifting as if alive. It blocked the only way forward, a cosmic gate that no technology could read. Alarms screamed, the ship groaned, and fear swept through the hull like a wave. The captain shouted, "This is the end. No one can pass this, not even him." The younger princess turned sharply, anger in her eyes. "Do not doubt him now. He has brought us this far." The older princess raised her hand, silencing the hull. "Let us see what the human chooses," she said softly, her voice filled with something rare among her people, faith. The comms crackled, the human's voice cutting through the storm, calm and certain. "This wall is not solid. It is a veil, but only if you move with it, not against it. Watch and follow." Before anyone could respond, his fighter tilted and dove, straight toward the impossible wall. The crew gasped, the captain cursed, the princesses held their breath. The wall erupted around him, flames licking at his ship, sparks bursting inside his cockpit, but he did not falter. His fighter danced through, rolling, twisting, sliding between rivers of fire like a bird caught in wind. Every move defied reason. Every motion seemed like suicide, yet each one brought him closer to safety. The royal ship tried to follow, engines straining, shields cracking, the crew screaming as fire slammed against their hull. The captain shouted, "We cannot hold. Our ship is too large." The human's voice roared through the comms. "Then trust me. Trust every move I make. Do not question. Do not hesitate. Follow my path exactly, or the storm will take you." And so they did. The massive ship mirrored the tiny fighter, step for step, impossible as it seemed. The princesses clung to their seats, their eyes never leaving the human's glowing trail. Lightning burst, flames twisted, gravity pulled, but the human always found the thread of life hidden in the chaos. Finally, with one last desperate roll, the fighter pierced through. The wall shattered behind him, exploding into a storm of light that swallowed the void. And then, silence. The ship emerged into a hollow pocket of calm space. The nebula still raged outside, but here there was light, here there was breath, here there was survival. The crew collapsed in relief, gasping, cheering, some even crying. But the princesses did not cheer, they only watched the human's fighter, drifting, damaged, sparks flying from its wings. The younger whispered, "He risked everything, and yet he smiles." For on the screen, his scarred face appeared once more, calm, steady, alive. "Do not relax yet," he said. "The storm has more to give, and the path ahead will test us further than this." The captain groaned. More, there cannot be more. But deep down, he knew the human was right. The nebula was not finished, it was only testing them. The older princess stepped forward, her voice clear and strong. "Human pilot, you have brought us through death itself. My sister and I owe you our lives. We will not doubt you again." The younger one nodded fiercely, her eyes bright with fire. "Yes, we will follow you to the end, no matter what lies ahead." The human gave the smallest nod, his voice soft but certain. "Good, because the hardest part is yet to come." And as if to answer him, the nebula shifted once more. From the darkness ahead, a storm unlike any before began to rise. A storm that bent space itself, pulling stars into spirals, ripping time into fragments. The nebula had shown them walls of fire, but now it revealed its true heart. A living maelstrom, ancient and merciless. The princesses stared, their hands tightening on the railing. The crew trembled, their hope fading again. But the human only smiled, his scarred face lit by the storm's glow. "This," he whispered, is where humans belong. And he dove once more into the heart of the impossible. The nebula shifted like a living giant. Its storms twisted into spirals of gold and violet, tearing holes in space itself. Stars bent. Time seemed to stretch and collapse, and the royal ship creaked as though the void was crushing it from every side. The crew stared in terror, some frozen, some whispering prayers in languages older than empires. Yet ahead of them, one small fighter kept moving, a single spark of human defiance against the endless storm. The younger princess clutched the railing, her eyes locked on the glowing trail of the human's ship. He should be dead 100 times already, and yet he flies as if this storm is nothing, she whispered. Her older sister placed a hand on her shoulder, steadying her. Do not look at the storm. Look at him. He is the only reason we are alive. The human's cockpit was alive with chaos, alarms screaming, warning lights flashing red, oxygen running thin, fuel burning faster than it should. But his eyes were calm, his hands steady, his breathing slow and controlled. He spoke into the comms with a voice that cut through the storm like steel. Listen carefully. The nebula is alive. It does not obey logic. It has rhythm. You must feel it, not fight it. The captain scoffed, his voice trembling. This is madness. Storms do not live. This is just energy, just chaos. But the older princess silenced him. Then why are we still alive when no other ship has survived? Perhaps madness is the only truth in this place. The human tilted his fighter sharply, spinning through a gravity wave that cracked space like glass. His voice came again. Do not use your instruments. They lie here. Follow me by instinct, not machines. The crew hesitated, their hands frozen above the controls. The princesses stepped forward together. You heard him, obey. Slowly, the royal ship turned, abandoning the safety of computers, moving instead in the shadow of the human's craft. It was madness, yet for the first time, the movements felt natural, as if guided by unseen hands. The storm raged harder, lightning tore across the void, ripping ship-sized holes through nothingness. And yet, step for step, the massive vessel followed the tiny fighter through the impossible. The younger princess whispered, he is not flying, he is dancing. And in truth, that was how it looked. The human did not fight the storm, he moved with it, flowing like a leaf in water. Every turn, every roll, every dive, seemed to belong to the storm itself, as if the nebula was testing him, and he answered with fearless grace. But the storm was not done. From the depths of the maelstrom, a colossal wave of energy began to rise, larger than anything they had seen, a wall of light that stretched across the void. It pulsed with ancient power, bending time into ripples, splitting reality into shards. The crew gasped, their courage breaking. This is the end. Nothing can pass this, the captain cried. Even the princesses faltered, their hands shaking, their breath caught in their throats. The human's voice came once more, steady as stone. Do not fear. This is only the heart testing us. There is always a way through, always. His fighter tilted downwards, heading straight toward the impossible wall. The crew shouted, the princesses cried out. But he did not stop. His ship struck the wave head-on. For a moment it vanished, swallowed by the storm. The princesses screamed, the crew froze. Then, suddenly, the fighter burst out the other side, glowing with fire but still alive. The human's laughter echoed through the comms, raw and fearless. Follow me. Do not think, just follow. The princesses shouted together. Follow him now. The crew obeyed, and the royal ship plunged into the storm wall. It felt as though the void itself was tearing them apart, gravity pulling in 100 directions, fire ripping through shields, alarms screaming louder than hearts could bear. Yet they held the course, following the exact path the human had carved. And then, silence. The ship broke through, battered, smoking, but whole. The crew collapsed in relief, some laughing, some weeping. The younger princess wiped tears from her eyes, staring at the human's glowing fighter ahead. He does not fear the storm, he belongs to it, she whispered. The older princess nodded slowly, her voice filled with awe. No, he does not belong to it. He bends it to his will. The human's face appeared on the screen again, sweat dripping, eyes bright like burning stars. You have seen the heart, but the storm is not finished. It has one more trial for us, one last test. The princesses felt a chill. If what they had just faced was not the final trial, then what awaited them beyond? The nebula shifted once more, darker now, heavier. From the depths ahead came a sound, not of thunder, but of something alive, something watching. The crew trembled, the princesses held their breath. And the human smiled, his scarred face lit by lightning. "This," he said, "is where the real fight begins." The nebula pulsed like a living heart. Its storms no longer random, no longer wild, but deliberate, as if it knew their presence. The royal ship drifted behind the human fighter, battered and scarred, yet still alive. The crew was exhausted, trembling, their voices broken, but they followed without question now. For the human had proven himself again and again. He was no ordinary pilot. He was something else, something that defied reason. The younger princess leaned forward, her eyes fixed on the small ship ahead. "He is still pushing forward, though his fighter bleeds fire," she whispered. Her sister nodded, voice calm but full of weight. "He will not stop, not while we still live. That is his way." Inside the human's cockpit, smoke drifted, sparks leapt from broken panels. Oxygen warnings blinked red, fuel red dangerously low, yet his hands were steady. He stared at the storm ahead with fierce eyes, and he whispered to himself, "One more door, just one more." The nebula answered with a roar. Before them rose the final trial, a vortex larger than entire worlds. It spun with black fire, violet lightning, rivers of molten energy flowing into its center like a cosmic drain. This was not a storm. This was a mouth, a maw that devoured all who entered. The crew cried out in despair, their courage shattered. "This is death. Nothing can survive this, not even him." The human's voice came through the comms, low but unshaken. "This is the heart of the nebula, and this is where legends are made. If you trust me, if you follow me, I will take you through." The captain shouted, his voice breaking. "You are mad. This is suicide." The younger princess turned on him, her voice like steel. "No, this is humanity, and we will follow." The older princess stepped forward, her voice carrying across the hall. "Human pilot, we trust you. Take us where no one has gone before." The human tilted his fighter, engines roaring like thunder, and without hesitation he dove into the vortex. The royal ship followed, shields glowing, metal screaming, every soul aboard clinging to hope as the storm swallowed them whole. Inside the vortex, reality broke apart. Time stretched and shattered, stars twisted into spirals, voices echoed without mouths. The crew felt their minds breaking, but the human's voice kept them steady. "Do not look at what the storm shows you. It lies. Only follow me. Only trust me." They obeyed. Through fire, through shadows, through visions of their own deaths, they followed the small fighter. The human's ship burned, pieces breaking away, alarms howling, but still he flew, carving a path through madness itself. The princesses watched in awe, their fear replaced with something deeper. Respect, admiration, and something unspoken. At last, the vortex roared one final time, a blast of pure energy tearing across the void. The human shouted, his voice raw, "Hold tight, this is the last strike." His fighter spun, diving through a collapsing rift, carving the smallest thread of safe passage. The royal ship followed, its hull splitting, shields collapsing, but still clinging to the trail. Then, silence. The ship burst out of the vortex, tumbling into calm space. The nebula raged behind them, its heart sealed once more, but they were free. They had passed through the storm that had swallowed countless ships. They had survived where no alien dared. The crew collapsed in disbelief, some laughing, some crying, unable to believe they lived. The captain sank to his knees, whispering, "A human? Only a human could do this." The princesses looked at the screen, where the human's fighter drifted, broken, scarred, yet still alive. The younger one whispered, tears in her eyes, "He gave everything, and still he stands." The older nodded, her voice trembling. "He has done what no empire, no king, no fleet could do. He has bent the nebula itself." The human's voice came through once more, weak but steady. "You are safe now. The nebula has no more doors to test us. You are free." His words faded. His ship flickered, systems failing, oxygen gone, yet he did not call for help. Instead, He only whispered one last line. "This is what it means to be human." The princesses rose, their eyes burning with fire. They turned to the crew, their voices like thunder. "Prepare rescue. Bring him aboard. He is no longer a stranger. He is our savior." The crew leapt into action, sending out shuttles, pulling the human's broken fighter back to the royal ship. As his craft was dragged inside, smoke spilling, flames dying, the entire hull fell silent. For the moment the cockpit opened, every alien saw what they had whispered only in legend. A human, scarred, tired, but smiling, standing tall even in ruin. The younger princess whispered to her sister, "We owe him everything." And the older one answered, "Yes, and we will never let that debt fade." The nebula roared one last time behind them, but it no longer mattered, for humanity had conquered it. And two alien princesses now owed their lives to one man who dared the impossible. The nebula was behind them, silent now, yet its storm still echoed in the hearts of every alien aboard. They had escaped the impossible, carried through death by a single human pilot. The crew stood in awe, whispering his name as if he were already legend. But the universe is cruel, and victory often invites new trials. As the royal ship steadied itself, systems failing, shields shattered, engines weak, a shadow appeared ahead. At first it looked like a cluster of asteroids, drifting silently in space. But then the shapes moved, unfolding wings of metal, glowing weapons lighting the dark. Dozens of pirate vessels surrounded them, hungry for prey. The captain's face drained of color. "No, not now, not here, our ship cannot fight." The younger princess stepped forward, her voice sharp. "Prepare defenses." The crew obeyed, though their hands shook. Their ship was too damaged, too slow, too broken to resist. The pirate leader's voice came over the comms, cold and mocking. Well, the royal sisters themselves, crawling out of the nebula. "How fortunate for us. Hand over your ship, your treasure, and your lives, and perhaps we will leave one of you breathing." The hull trembled with anger and fear, but before the captain could answer, another voice cut across the silence. The human, his face flickered on the screen, pale, tired, his fighters still burning from the storm. "Pirates," he muttered with a faint grin, "always waiting like vultures." The older princess leaned forward, her voice urgent. "Human pilot, your ship cannot fight. You gave everything in the nebula. You must rest." But he only shook his head, eyes burning with iron will. "No, I did not drag you through death just to hand you to scavengers. I will fight." Before anyone could stop him, his crippled fighter roared to life, engines coughing sparks, but wings spreading like a predator ready for the kill. The pirates laughed when they saw him, one broken ship against their swarm. But the laughter died when he moved. The human dove into the pirate formation like fire, weaving between their ships with impossible speed. Lasers lit the void, explosions flared, but his fighter danced as if alive. He struck with precision, one blast here, one strike there, turning their perfect ambush into chaos. The crew of the royal ship watched in disbelief. He should not even be flying, yet he is destroying them. The pirates grew angry, tightening their trap, weapons locking onto the human. Their leader snarled, "Enough games, end him." Hundreds of beams fired at once. The human's fighter shook, shields gone, armor ripping apart, alarms howling in his ears. The princesses cried out, their hearts breaking as his ship spun. But his voice came again, steady even in ruin. "Not yet, not while I still breathe." He turned his crippled craft into a weapon, diving straight into the heart of the pirate fleet. He used the storm tricks he had learned in the nebula, sliding through fire, twisting through impossible gaps. The pirates could not predict him. Their computers failed, their instincts too slow. One by one, their ships fell, burning in silence. The captain of the royal ship whispered in awe. "He is using the storm against them. He is making the void his ally." The younger princess pressed her hand against the screen, whispering, "He is not fighting to win. He is fighting to protect us, even if it kills him." But the pirates were endless, more ships swarming, more guns firing. The human's fighter was torn, flames spilling into the void, oxygen leaking, his vision blurring. Still he fought, refusing to yield. Then his voice cracked through the calms, raw but fierce. "I cannot hold forever, but I can give you a chance, use it." The older princess turned sharply to the crew, her voice thunder. Divert all remaining power to weapons. Fire when he breaks their lines. The crew obeyed, energy rerouted, the ship glowing with the last of its strength. The human spun one final time, carving open a path with fire and steel. Now, he shouted. The royal ship unleashed its full fury, beams tearing through the pirate vessels, explosions shaking the stars. The swarm broke, their formation shattered, survivors fleeing into the void. The ambush was over, the pirates scattered, defeated. Silence returned, broken only by the crackle of fires on the human's fighter. The princesses held their breath as his ship drifted, half destroyed, but still moving. The younger whispered, tears in her eyes. He gave everything again. He cannot keep this up. The older one nodded, her voice trembling but proud. He will not stop, not until we are safe. That is what it means to be human. The human's face appeared one last time, weak but smiling. You are clear now. The way ahead is yours. Your people are waiting. Then his screen flickered, his fighter going dark, silence swallowing his voice. The hall stood frozen, every alien staring at the empty screen. And in that silence, the princesses spoke as one, their voices strong. Bring him back, now, no delay, he is ours to protect, as he has protected us. The crew moved with renewed fire, rushing to rescue the human once more. For in the endless dark of space, they all knew the truth. Without him, they would already be dead. And without him, they would never be the same again. The battlefield lay quiet, the nebula fading behind them, the pirate wrecks drifting like broken bones across the void. The royal ship floated weakly, its hull scarred, its shields gone, its engines barely alive. Yet it had survived. It had passed through death itself. And at its side, a human fighter hung silent, broken, smoke curling into space. The princesses stood at the front of the command hall, their eyes fixed on that battered craft. The younger one's voice trembled. He cannot still be alive. No one could live through this. Her sister shook her head, her voice low but steady. No, this is a human, and humans do not fall so easily. The crew worked frantically, shuttles launched, cables extended, pulling the human's fighter toward the docking bay. Every eye was wide with fear and hope, for this man had carried them through storms and war, and none wished to see him gone. At last, the fighter settled inside the bay, flames dying, metal groaning. The cockpit cracked open, smoke spilling out, and silence swept across the hall as the human emerged. He stumbled forward, his body scarred, his uniform torn, but he stood tall, his eyes burning with the same fire that had carried him through the nebula. The aliens gasped, whispers spreading like waves. He lives, the human lives. The younger princess rushed forward, breaking royal protocol, her hands trembling as she reached him. You should be dead, yet you walk. Why? Why do you fight for us? The human gave a tired smile, his voice rough. Because you needed me, and humans do not turn away when life is at stake, not when we can still fight. The older princess joined her sister, her gaze steady but filled with unspoken emotion. You have done more than save us. You have defied the impossible. You faced storms no ship could pass. You fought enemies when you had nothing left. You gave us hope when hope was gone. For this, our lives belong to you. The hall fell silent, every alien watching as the royal daughters of the Empire lowered their heads before a single human. It was an act no one in history had ever witnessed. The captain whispered, stunned. The princesses bowed to him. The debt is eternal. The younger princess lifted her chin, her voice ringing with royal fire. Before this crew, before the stars, I swear, the royal house owes its life to this human. He is not our guest. He is not our ally. He is our savior, and our blood will remember him forever. Her sister echoed her words. We are bound to him, by duty, by honor, and by choice. From this day, his name will be carried in our empire as the one who conquered the nebula. The crew fell to their knees, heads bowed, for none could deny the truth. The human looked around, weary, uncertain, and used to such devotion. He shook his head slowly, his voice soft. I am no king, no hero. I am only a pilot who refused to turn back. But the princesses smiled, and the older one answered firmly. Then you are more than any king, for kings rule by power, but you rule by courage, and courage is what this galaxy needs. The younger one stepped closer, her hand resting lightly on his arm. You may not call yourself hero, but to us, you are more than that. You are the proof that humanity is meant for the impossible. The human lowered his gaze, humbled, yet inside he felt something stir. Not pride, not vanity, but a deep understanding that in this galaxy of countless races and empires, humans carried something unique. Something no storm could crush, no enemy could steal. The will to fight when all seemed lost. The nebula rumbled in the distance, fading into silence, as if bowing to the man who had passed through its heart. The princesses stood on either side of him, their presence a vow. From this day, the human would not walk alone. For two royal daughters of an alien empire now carried his debt as their own. The captain raised his voice, his eyes burning with respect. Let it be known across the stars, a human has done what no fleet, no empire, no legend has done. He has conquered the storm, and in doing so, he has claimed the eternal debt of royalty. The crew roared with voices full of fire, their cries shaking the hall. The human closed his eyes, his tired body swaying, but a smile touched his lips, for he knew the truth. He had not only saved lives, he had changed destiny. And somewhere deep inside, he felt the story was only beginning. The princesses turned to him, their voices soft but sure. Where you go, we will follow. And in that moment, the stars themselves seemed to bow. For one human had dared the deadly nebula, and two alien princesses now owed him everything.